There's not so many different ways to come up with ideas if you think about it as movements inside your brain. And let's think about some of these basic moves. If it was tennis, you could have a forehand and a backhand, a smash. If it was maybe karate, you could have a punch, a block, and a kick. So inside your mind, these are the basic moves you need to come up with new ideas. One is just to output everything. This has the benefit of getting the garbage out of your head, and also it helps you record those ideas so you can find them later. You can speak them, you can write them, you can draw pictures, whatever you want. Get it out and get it down. Okay, the next thing, this is what we call negative reverse. And the idea is you start with a problem and try to flip it around. This is really good for overcoming obstacles. For example, say that you need to have a meeting. It should be face-to-face. And yet, your counterpart is on another continent. We can't meet, we can't travel. What should we do? We want the face-to-face. Okay, flip that around and say, we can't meet, but we want face-to-face. Well, in that case, let's go with a video meeting. Sounds reasonable. The next one, analyze and twist. This is about taking your topic, breaking it into small pieces, and like a slot machine, switching each one around. Let's take an example. Maybe you are selling IT systems, and your customer, she says, we want more functionality, but our budget is limited to what we already told you. Okay, for the salesperson, this is typically bad news. You either have to say no, or you have to say yes and reduce your profit. But if we take an analyze and twist strategy, okay, what are some of the pieces to this agreement? Well, there's a time element. Okay, could we go cheap this time and pick it up later? Is there a volume element? Could we triple the volume and make it a 3-year contract? Thereby, because it's larger, reduce the price? Could we break it into pieces? For example, use the limited budget to deliver the actual system now and follow it up later using additional charges for service? Could we change the payment style to be a monthly subscription plan? And on and on. The point is, break it into pieces and twist each one. That's another way to get ideas. Next, backtracking. This is where when you face the problem, you're trying to find a solution and you're just not making progress. In that case, imagine yourself at the achieved and the finish line looking back. Just like when you do a maze, well, starting at the beginning, you bump into walls. Start at the end and you can work your way out of it. Climbing a mountain, it's a lot easier to start on the top, looking down to see which route is the easiest. An example of how this might work in real life is in the world of sports, the high jump exists. And until the 1960s, it was very, very difficult for everyone to go above 7 foot 4 inches. But the Fosbury Fop, he focused not on the technique, getting an extra half an inch, getting an extra inch, but rather, what is the best way to get over this high stick? Well, focus on the goal and you might make it. Another one, borrowed brilliance. This is when you're stuck, you don't have an idea. Think, what would that person do? For example, say I own a small restaurant. It's not very exciting. Okay, recently, not enough customers are coming. I want to make it stand out compared to the other restaurants in the neighborhood. Well, then I think, what would Leonardo da Vinci do? Okay, well, he's very artistic. So maybe we could make it like a gallery-themed restaurant, more arty, more sophisticated. Or maybe I ask, what would Mother Teresa do? Well, she's all about taking care of people, especially those that are feeling down. Maybe we could combine restaurant with counseling or something along those lines. Think, what would they do? And that'll give you another idea. The last one, this is called forced association. Take things that are completely unrelated and just smash them together. Famous story. One guy, he came back from a business trip and he had to return a video that was more than a month late. He had to pay a pretty hefty charge. And after that, he went to his sports gym and didn't have to pay a late charge. So he tried to force associate, why can't videos be like sports gyms? What if I had a monthly fee that I pay to be a member and do whatever I want? Well, you know the end. That became Netflix. The story is, these are some of the basic movements inside your head that need to happen to come up with new ideas. And do them all for 30 seconds each. Okay, you need an idea? Write it down, say it, get it out. Look at the negatives, try and flip it around. Take the big story, break it into small pieces and twist it up. Maybe backtrack. What's the goal? Is there a different way to get there? If you're really in trouble, what would she do? Think of someone else. And in the worst case scenario, find something completely unrelated and smash them together. Now, there are some great books with lots of different methods for coming up with ideas. My favorite that really follows these strategies is Thinkertoys. Another one is from Doug Hall, who's really good at ideas. Now, if you want the high caffeine version from the 1990s, Jumpstart Your Brain. And if you want a slightly more calm, sophisticated, mature, and technical strategy, here's Doug Hall again. At any rate, the point is, thinking of ideas is like a muscle. With practice and exercise, you get very strong and very good. Practice these basic moves and you'll have ideas like nothing. But an idea that doesn't get done is worthless. Next, let's look at action.